All right, so here we're supposed to use augmented matrix to solve this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that into an augmented matrix, which is looking like this, and then we just have to work our way down. So how do we do that? Well, first off, we need to get a 1 here, so we're going to basically multiply that whole first row by 1/2, and when we do that, we get this. And so if we wrote that down as far as what we did, we're just going to say, well, in here, that's going to be just 1/2 row 1 goes to row 1. Now, the next thing we need is this to be a 0. So now we're going to say a minus 3 times row 1 plus row 2 goes to row 2, and that gives us this. Now, we need this to be a 1, and so what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, let's take 2/17 row 2 and make that the new row 2. And if we do that, we have this. And now we're going to say, okay, well, I need that to be a 0, so let's take a 3/2 row 2 plus row 1, and that's going to be our new row 1. And when we do that, we end up with this as final answer. And so that means x1 is 3/2, x2 is -1, which is what they show here. And we're going to leave the check to the computer. We're not going to do that. All right, let's do another one. So this is going to be our system of equations. Now, again, we're just going to have 2, -1, 4, -6, 3, -12. That's going to be our augmented matrix. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to take 1/2 row 1 and make that our new row 1. So that's what we have. Now we're going to take, well, we need to get that to be a 0, so we're going to take 6 row 1 plus row 2, and that's going to be our new row 2. And that's what we get here. All right, now what do we have here? Okay, so there's something different here than we've seen before. And so what happens is now this is our new augmented matrix. This plus this equals 2, and 0 equals 0. So that's still equivalent to the original system. So basically, the graphs of the two original equations coincide, so that means there's going to be infinitely many solutions. So when you get 0, 0, that means infinitely many solutions is going to be your answer. Now, there's different ways we can write that. So when they have this, there's going to be the system's dependent, and there are infinitely many solutions. And so what we have to do is we have to say, well, let's let one of these things equal some other variable. And so usually a t is given, not always, but sometimes. And so let's let x2 equal t. So if x2 is equal to t, we write it first like this, and then we plug it into this equation, or if we solve for x1, we can plug it into this equation, and so then x1 is equal to that, and so our solution actually is going to be 1/2 t plus 2 comma t. That's going to be our solution, and it's going to be infinite number. So whatever t we plug in for our x, our y value is going to be basically, or whatever we plug in for t, which is our y value. When we get our x out, then that's going to be whatever it is based on that value there. So again, you're going to get an infinite number of solutions depending on what value of t you choose there. All right, so let's stop there and we'll come back for some more.